One day he says to his mom, I'm going to run the ultramarathon. Now, the ultramarathon, for all of you who might be runners or not, is an 875-kilometer run from Sydney to Melbourne. Not an insignificant feat. But Cliff Young decided he needed a little bit something different for his life. When you look at what you're going to do differently, remember it's all relative to you and not everybody else. It's how do you want to make a difference? What significant thing do you want to do? Not, ooh, what did Joe do over there? Who cares? So Cliff said, yeah, I'm going to run the ultramarathon. So Cliff shows up in galoshes over his work boots and overalls, and he stands in line with 150 athletic greats, backed by companies like Nike and Adidas. They all looked at Cliff Young and said, oh, it must be a publicity stunt. The gun goes off, everybody runs. Except for Cliff, he sort of did a shuffle. I guess it's kind of hard to run with galoshes over your work boots. So he sort of shuffled along. And the way the ultramarathon works is you run for 18 hours and you sleep for 6. That's just kind of how the whole thing's set up, and you do this for about 5 days. Well, someone forgot to tell Cliff about the sleeping part. So he never stopped. Oh, there was Cliff shuffling. And he won the entire thing by 9 hours. Now, Cliff Young didn't go, oh, I'm gonna go out there and I'm going to set a new record for the ultramarathon. He didn't do that. He said, I want to do something significant for my life. Turns out that everybody looked at Cliff Young and said, he's on to something. This running thing takes too much energy. We're going to do what we now call the Young Shuffle. So now they shuffle because it exerts less energy. So now they're all shuffling like Cliff Young. And you know what else? They no longer sleep. I'm sure they cursed Cliff Young the entire time. But they're just running. Now, what else they didn't tell Cliff is that there's a $10,000 prize at the end. He wasn't even running for the money. And Cliff Young, being so humble, he said, I don't need that. Don't worry about that. I think you should split it among the 5 people who come in after me. And so he did. Cliff Young did not set out to change the ultramarathon. He set out to do something significant for himself, to make a difference in his own life. He didn't have a herd of people telling him, oh, Cliff, you don't look like an ultramarathoner. Oh, Cliff, they don't wear galoshes and overalls. I don't think you should be doing this. He probably had a mother that said, Cliff, you can do anything. So he didn't have a herd. He bounced when he could. He said, I ran as if there were storms and I didn't have the tractor, so I ran all night as if I was herding sheep. So when it got really hard, he just thought to himself, I'm just herding sheep. He clapped for himself. His mother was probably there clapping. And he got his woohoo. And he just did it 10 miles at a time. That's how we make a difference in the world. So I ask you, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to do to make a difference? For yourself, for your team, for your families, for your colleagues, for your organization, in spite of red tape, politics. We've never done it that way. We don't do it. That's just not it. It's not done that way. In spite of the herd, what are you going to do? And when are you going to choose to love your job? It's all it takes is a choice. So I challenge you. Choose it and make a difference. Thank you so much.